The Old Man in the Sea takes place in Cuba, so Santiago and Manolín would have been Spanish speakers. But Ernest Hemingway, the author, was American, so he wrote the story in English. But he did try to use Spanish words throughout to kind of give a flavor of the story and the place. The first word he used is salao, as in, but after 40 days without a fish, the boy's parents had told him that the old man was now definitely and finally salao. It means very unlucky, to be very unlucky. So because he hadn't caught a fish for so long, 84 days, he was considered salao. The next word is guano. Guano refers to the palm leaves on a palm tree. In the story, they are dried, and then they are used to build the shack that Santiago lived in. These are the guanos that we just talked about, and they are in la brisa, or the breeze. They are blowing the guanos. In the story, Santiago says, there's a light breeze, a light brisa. And he says, it's better weather for me than for you, fish. These are los guanos en la brisa, palm trees in the breeze. The next word is bodega. This is a small grocery store, and here you have a couple of pictures of bodega. The two on the top are actually in New York City. There's kind of small corner grocery stores. The one at the bottom is actually called Bodega de la Ardosa, and that one is in Madrid, Spain. The next thing we're going to talk about is an expression, not just a word. The expression is que va. We see it in the book. Manolín says, and the best fisherman is you. Santiago says, no, I know others better. And then Manolín says, que va. So he could have been saying in English, no way, you're kidding. Or even, yeah, right. So with a little sarcasm. Now this expression literally means, what goes? That's what those two words mean together. But someone wouldn't say, what goes? Now in English we might say something like, what's up? And you don't literally mean clouds and sky and birds, but you mean, how's it going? Another place that we see que va in the story is when he says, he was sleepy, meaning Manolín. He was sleepy, and the old man put his arm across his shoulders and said, I'm sorry, because he had to wake him up. And Manolín says, que va, it is what a man must do. So here, it's a little bit of a different meaning. It's like saying, oh, you don't have to be sorry for that. I know that you had to do that because we have to get going. Another expression that's kind of similar in Spanish, no hay de qué, or something an English speaker might say, think nothing of it. In the book, Santiago has a long explanation of why he says la mar, the sea, instead of el mar, the sea. Why is there this difference? The sea is actually a masculine noun in Spanish, so it should be el mar. But Santiago explains that some fishermen refer to the sea as a woman when they love her. He also explains that there are some other reasons why the sea would be like a woman. She can be kind, and she's beautiful, but she can also be cruel, as in not giving him any fish. She can withhold the fish that he needs to survive and be successful. He says also that she is wild at times and wicked, but that she can't help it. He says that younger fishermen tend to use el mar because they see it as it's a contest, it's an enemy, it's a competition between them and the sea to see who wins, who gets the fish. The next expression is agua mala. Agua is water, mala is an adjective, and it can mean bad or wrong or sick or ill. Now, how is this used in the story? Santiago says this about the sea because he thinks that the Portuguese man-o-war are turning the sea bad. The poison from their long tentacles gets tangled up and sticks onto the lines of the fishermen, which leaves sores and welts on their hands when they're trying to pull in the fish. And he really hates that because it hurts. So that's why he's saying they're making the water sick, or agua mala. The next word is calambre. This is a cramp. Have you ever had one of those horrible cramps that wakes you up in the night in your calf? This is a picture of the calf cramp, but also people can get cramps in their hands. This is a picture of someone with a hand cramp, and that's what Santiago gets in the story. His left hand cramps very, very badly, and it's right before an important fight that he's going to have with the fish. So he talks to his hand and he tells it, come on, get rid of that cramp. I need you. I need you to help me. The next thing we have a picture of is un espuero de hueso, bone spur in English, bone spur. Now, you wouldn't probably know anything about this unless you've experienced it, but there's a picture of the bone spur in an x-ray, and then they are actually, if it didn't have skin, those would be bone spurs. And Santiago knew about this because his baseball hero, Joe DiMaggio, had one. He says Joe does all things perfectly, even with the pain of the bone spur in his heel. So Santiago's never had one, but wonders if it would stop him from trying to hold on to the marlin fish. He didn't let the cramp stop him, so maybe he wouldn't let the bone spur stop him either. The next word is juegos, and this refers to all sports or games. While Santiago is fishing for the 2 days and nights, he doesn't know the results of the juegos, specifically the baseball results from his favorite team, the New York Yankees, with his favorite baseball hero, Joe DiMaggio. But while he's thinking, he also thinks about the times in his life where he was very determined, or when other people were very determined. And he remembers a story, he thinks about a time that he won an arm wrestling competition against a very strong opponent. The match started on a Sunday morning and ended on a Monday morning, so 24 hours of trying to arm wrestle somebody. And when he won that, for a long time, he was called El Campeón, and that means champion. Kind of looks like the English word champion, El Campeón. The next word is dorado. This means golden. It's also a type of fish. This is a picture of the fish, and you can see why he might be called a golden fish. Santiago catches one and eats it raw to keep up his strength. They're quite beautiful. You can also use dorado in other contexts. These are golden retriever, golden frog, golden pigs, so you could use that as an adjective to describe all of those. The word in Spanish for gold is oro, but the adjective dorado. And finally, we have 2 words for shark, 2 negative words for shark that are used in the story by Santiago. The actual word for shark in Spanish is tiburón, but the author doesn't use that. He uses 2 different negative words because the sharks are eating that beautiful fish that he has wrestled with for 2 days and 2 nights. The first negative word for shark that he uses is dentuso. Just one tooth in Spanish is el diente. And these all have Latin-based roots, these words. So even in English, although it's not Latin-based, we use dental, which is referring to teeth, and dentist, someone who works on teeth. So it all kind of has the same root, dentuso. When Santiago is struggling to stab and kill the sharks, he uses dentuso because he is upset that they're going to take his fish. The second negative reference to the shark is galano, or galanos. This is also a type of shark. This is a picture of a galanos, which is also called a white tip or a shovel-nosed shark. You can see that because the tips on the tail and fin are white. After he kills the second shark with his knife, and he cuts him off of the fish, he says, "Go on, Galano. Slide down a mile deep. Go see your friend, or maybe it's your mother." So he's referring to the first shark that he killed, and he sends the second one down to join him. This is a very exciting part of the book. The shark kills are one of the most exciting parts.